Hello and welcome to part 8! Now this is the part in the game where things start heating up. We've pissed off Neo Arcadia and they're about to start sicking their generals on us. To start with, we'll be going on the Rescue Kolbor mission. Kolbor is one of the resistance mooks. He's actually the commander of his own battalion. And we actually saw that battalion earlier to the far right of the subway area. Well, apparently they've launched an attack, and are having a bit of trouble, so we gotta go out and rescue them. Before we actually go to the right, though, we gotta go to the left, through this door, and get an unintuitive cyber elf. We'll be heading back to the right. Like some of the other stages before this, there aren't actually enough enemies to just get the full enemy score straight out, so we gotta grind them. And because we're grinding them, we get a couple of skill ups. Firstly, Buster Up. We can now charge up to 2 grades, which means we can now use its hypercharged attack and thus use elemental chips with the Buster. And one more skill up. We can now shoot 4 energy pellets at the same time. So now we can have 4 on screen at once, and we can, shoot them really fast. Pantheon flyers. And these annoying turtle enemies. I really don't like these things. You can only hurt them when their heads are out. That's a really risky cyber elf to get. As you can see, these used to be the train tracks from earlier, but that explosion kind of wrecked them. I wouldn't be standing on these willingly. Now, like I said, we're going to be fighting one of the generals of Neo Arcadia, and this one is the general of the Reku army, the Neo Arcadia's main air force. So most of the enemies in this stage are air-based, at least in some way. Like the turtles can fire missiles, they're jets, they're Pantheon flyers. Also, you could have taken the path to the upper path, but that would require you to jump over those platforms and avoid a bunch of Pantheon bullets, and it's much easier to take the secret lower path where you just have to hit the platform, activate it, and just take it straight right. If you take the upper, I'm sure you can get enough enemies, but... oh dear, looks like most of them are dead. And the reason I just did that was because apparently I was under the impression we had the ice chip, but I was mistaken. That's this guy's weakness. Seeing as he's lightning elemental, he is weak to ice. He's also pretty prideful. Doesn't think much of us yet. Now this guy is one of the most powerful men in Neo Arcadia, so you'd expect him to be a really, really tough boss. Unfortunately, he is not. He's actually one of the easiest in the game. This is because he is easily knocked out of every single one of his patterns. Normally, he'll stop in the middle of the screen and start launching these homing missiles there at you, but I interrupt him too fast. He does this triple hit, and if you have the ice chip, you can actually trap him in that pattern. Just freeze him over and over, and he'll just keep doing that triple hit move. Otherwise, he never actually attacks you directly with his twin energy swords. I'm going to let him survive for a bit there, so that he can use his EX skill. This is Plasma Cyclone, and it spawns a tornado that tries to push you into these 2 electrical barriers. You might not be able to see it, though, because of frame rate issues on YouTube and stuff. And he's already dead. He is a male, even though he has very feminine sound bites. And he leaves a cyber elf for us, how nice. And we rescued Kolbor. The rest of his unit is dead though, so he's going to have quite a bit of a guilt complex for a while. Let's go visit him. Now that we've finished that mission, he'll appear in this room. It's previously empty, but we can talk to him. And apparently he's been relegated to grunt work. Poor him. Harpuyo is so easy, we got that last mission done in no time flat. So we'll be tackling one more. To find the hidden base mission, we'll be bringing us back to the desert area to try to find the entrance to the hidden base, where Neo Arcadia is apparently holding a bunch of Reploids hostage for use in their diabolical experiments. We obviously have to go and save them. And we gotta find it by ourselves. It's not too hard, though. To start out, we'll just be going across the same old desert from last time. Again, though, there won't be enough enemies, so we gotta grind them once more. Was this place not enough for you last time? Well, enjoy it once more. And again after this. And again after this. You visit this desert many, many times in this game. At least there is one new thing in this area. A camel. Ooh. And this guy wasn't here before. Oh, what was that? Well. Hidden Cyber Elf over here. And we can't get through. Thankfully, CL somehow managed to hack this thing through I don't know how many layers of security, and I didn't even see if she had a computer back there. Obviously she does, though. And now we're in a secret underground cavern. Gotta shoot these pillars or slash them to cause them to fall. And use them as platforms, because there are a bunch of booby traps and spikes underneath us. Not nice. And over here there's a bunch of ice, and these annoying turtle enemies again. It's just a little bit to the ladder, but if you keep going far to the left, like far, far to the left across a ton of ice, you'll eventually come to a one-up and stuff. There's nothing important over there, though, and it's just a bunch of ice with a couple pickups, so nothing interesting. Watch out for these floppers, they can really easily hit you with their explosion radius. And another locked door. There we go. Then it locks again behind us. Oh dear. And here's the first of the Reploids. We slash their doors to open them, and somehow they all know how many others are here. She's understandable, seeing as, you know, she knew how many were in her group. But the rest of them somehow know how many others to save before them, so. They're arranged in a fairly linear pattern, so it won't be hard to find them. That guy didn't know how many others there were. It's fun to dash slash the doors. Now to the right, to the far right, is actually another door. And that's locked right now, and we'll be told we can't get through it, but we'll be using that in a later mission. What we came there for was that really hidden Cyber Elf. Won't be finding that easily. How do you know that? Now you may have noticed the green tinted Pantheon Guardians. These guys are like booby trapped, obviously you can see them, but the doors will open, there'll be an enemy there. But if you get caught in the red part of those things there, they'll set off an alarm that will cause energy bars to form over these doors, and you won't be able to open them until the alarm stops. And that wastes a lot of time. Somehow the resistance members are really, really stealthy though, so. These things also have a little more health than regular Pantheons. Long corridors long. And you don't have a ponytail, stop lying to us. Stupid profile shots. Oh, look at that. We even get to see it. It doesn't matter, though, we've rescued all of them. And apparently they just decided they like the color red. You couldn't have gotten through this boss door until you rescued all of them, so gotta make sure you do all of them. We'll just let that alarm run its course. And this guy's weak to the fire chip, so this guy's gonna be the first one we demonstrate the capabilities of a charged elemental saber slash. His name is Blizak Stagroff. He's ice elemental, and he's based off a stag. With the whole Russian theme naming, they're obviously trying to play off his cold element. And yeah, Mutos Reploid, not a general. He's a member of the Water Army. And, yeah, he does a lot of ice-based things. This is his EX skill, Double Blizzard. He does his normal Blizzard attack that you might be seeing, where he shoots snow crystals, and those just hinder your jumping. But, yeah, don't really have much time to talk about him because elemental weaknesses rape bosses. They do more than a third of their health every time you hit them, so in 6 hits they're done. And now we get the Ice Chip. And we'll be taking that shuttle in the background back to the resistance base. I would have liked a cutscene, but, you know. And now we know the location of the hidden base, so we can go back there anytime. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but she's developing a substitute energy to try to solve the energy crisis that's causing this whole war. But that's going to be the end of the part, and I'm going to be ending it there. See you next time!